Good morning, everybody. It's great to be here with all of you, distinguished guests, excellencies, and friends. I'm delighted that we have with us today Honorable Minister Harjiv Singh ji, whose portfolio includes the Niti Aayog as well as urban development, housing, and poverty alleviation. This is a broad mandate that has a very large policy implication, given that India will have nearly 600 million people by 2030 living in urban areas, up from only about 340 million today, so nearly a doubling in the next 13 years. We also have with us today Mr. Shalabh Kumar, the founder of the Republican Hindu Coalition and an intrepid entrepreneur who built a fantastic electronics business called AVG Group. He works closely with President Trump and his organization in really sharing his perspective today with us on the future of US-India relationship under President Trump. He also coined the term "Ab ki baar Trump Sarkar," which I believe, at least in India, played out phenomenally, but globally it had over 1 billion people who sort of viewed that entire event that he had hosted in New Jersey. I'm also delighted that we have Dr. Agi, President of the US-India Business Council, which is the leading chamber of US-India businesses based out of Washington, D.C., and also one of One Globe Forum's oldest partners. And thank you for joining us. Lord Lumba, who is in the House of Lords, he's the chairman of the Lumba Foundation and a tireless champion of widows around the world. And I'm glad that we have all of these dignitaries on the dais with us this morning. And lastly, Dalbir Singh ji, the chairman of One Globe Forum, whose support since we started has been essential to our success. Welcome, all of you, to be here this morning and be part of a very important forum that we believe is going to help transform the way India and South Asia will grow in the coming years. One Globe was conceived, as Dalbirji mentioned earlier, as a platform to allow us to share ideas, issues, and impact around how do we build a 21st century knowledge economy. There are three things that I will quickly sort of run through in terms of what I believe are important today. There's lots of things that are very important, but three very, very critical and why they are and what we need to do as a country and a region to be able to sort of transcend the challenges that we have. The forum ourselves, we have an aspiration to really help shape ideas and policy that this century can really be transformed in terms of what South Asia can bring to the table, because we have 1.6 billion people, nearly a quarter of the world's population residing in this part of the world. According to the World Bank, last year, this was the fastest growing region in the world. And that says something, given that we have a very young demographic. Growth, of course, comes with a lot of challenges. We need to solve, to really transform our society and our neighborhood in the world. And this will only get transformed if the youth of this region and India are going to have the aspirational opportunities to go up the economic value chain. So the three areas that I was talking about are employment generation, because in India alone, we add about 1 million people into the workforce every month. And this is the youth that needs to come in and get employment opportunities to be able to move to the next stage in their careers. And currently, we are not creating enough jobs. And the way to do that is to really focus on the medium and small enterprises and enabling them to grow, and really busting the inability for some of them to scale and grow so they can actually create more employment. Second, a very important element of economic growth is education, which Dalbirji mentioned about, but I'll quickly touch on it because I believe the quality of education that we need to provide is absolutely essential, particularly in primary and secondary. Higher education, we do have pockets of excellence, but I think even there we need to have a lot more than we have historically been able to deliver. Lastly, I believe public health outcomes need to be much better across the region for us to really reduce the financial burden of not having the right public health outcomes in this part of the world. As we start to look at this, I think we get a frame of where India is transitioning into, really, with this whole urbanization, as people from rural parts of India migrate into the cities, which are, as you will see if you come to a Delhi or a Mumbai or a Bangalore, of how hard it is to sometimes navigate the cities. And we, of course, are going to be talking about smart cities and some of these challenges that we face through the day and in the next day or so. Of course, my favorite poet, Robert Frost, said, "We have miles to go before we sleep," and I believe we have miles to go. We do have a long road ahead in transforming India and South Asia, but step by step, we shall be able to achieve it. Lastly, I would like to take a minute to acknowledge our partners who make this possible: Cisco, Kodak, Uber, Veon, US India Business Council, Knowledge at Wharton, VC Circle, and of course Gutenberg and Brain Gain Magazine. But most importantly, my team, without whose support and efforts One Globe Forum would not be possible. Please join me in thanking all of them, and we look forward to a great couple of days here.